if a Christian falls from grace, they are no longer saved. Let's look at Galatians 5:4, where it says, "You have become estranged from Christ, you who attempt to be justified by law, you have fallen from grace." Paul says these Christians have become estranged from Christ. So, if they've become estranged from Christ and they're Christians, how can they still be saved? How can they still be born again? Paul says they had fallen from grace. Yet it is grace that brings salvation to people through faith. Therefore, if they had fallen from grace, these Christians, so they had fallen from the salvation grace brings through faith. If you have fallen from grace, grace does not cover you. You are cut off, disconnected from it. Therefore, grace does not benefit you. So, the Galatian church, those Christians who had become estranged from Christ, who had fallen from grace, they had lost their salvation. Why? Because they are without the benefit of grace. They were living by the strength of the flesh to live for God. And this cut them off from grace. And therefore, its benefit of salvation. So, how did they fall from grace? By living for God by the flesh. So, live for God by the Spirit, and you will not fall from grace, and you will not lose your salvation. Indeed, do as Paul said in Galatians 5:16, "I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lusts of the flesh." Galatians 5:18 says, "But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law." Now, church, do you see the emphasis of Paul here? It is to live by the Spirit for God. Therefore, live by the Spirit for God, and you will not lose your salvation. Live by the Spirit for God, and you will not fall from grace. Live by the Spirit.